The huge announcements just keep coming in, and with each and every one I am getting more excited. Welcome to Theme Park Worldwide, where it's time for a huge news update from the Alton Towers resorts. They're actually planning to build a new indoor attraction on an area of the park that hasn't been used for the theme park in over 30 years. In this video I'm going to be sharing all of the details that we know so far, along with talking about a public consultation that's set to be happening in the next few weeks, and also sharing my thoughts on what I think could get built on that site, along with what I would love to see built at Alton Towers for this project. This is the big news that we've been waiting for, folks. I tell you what, I'm really excited now for the future of Alton Towers with the dual transformation that's currently ongoing. We've got Nemesis that's about to have its huge overhaul, and now potentially what could be Secret Weapon 9 news, the next major attraction at Alton Towers. It literally is an amazing time to be not just an Alton Towers enthusiast, but a theme park enthusiast, with all these projects going on at the moment here in the UK. The world of Jumanji, Project Exodus at Thorpe Park, along with that, the new coasters at Legoland, along with other parks announcing things. There's just so much going on at the moment, I can't keep up. It is amazing, it really is. But this is one that's very close to my heart, a major new investment at my local park, and it's one that gets me very, very excited. Now, let's first just talk about how this has come around, because obviously Alton Towers haven't posted on social media or put anything on the website about this announcement. How it actually come around was just a few days ago, where local residents living in Alton, Farley, which are the local villages to Alton Towers, and also the surrounding area, were all actually given information to attend a public exhibition which is going to be taking place at the Alton Towers Conference Centre on the 19th of September 2022. Now, what it actually states as part of this invitation is that Alton Towers want to build a new indoor attraction in an area of the park which is known as Coaster Corner to enthusiasts, because in the past it's featured a few different roller coasters up there that I'll talk about in just a moment. Now, with where this site actually is, it's actually behind the World of David Walliams and also just to the side of the Alton Towers dungeon. So it's a piece of land that many people will never have actually stepped into before, unless you went to the park kind of back in the 80s, you know, when there was attractions built on that location. Now, just wanted to talk about the process. Obviously, this is not a plan application going in at the moment. This is a public consultation. However, with this, it's actually following in the lines of what Merlin have done with a couple of other big projects recently at Chessington and Thorpe Park. Obviously, World of Jumanji and also Project Exodus at Thorpe Park all followed this same kind of procedure. Instead of just putting the application in, they held an exhibition, consultation, got people down in the local area, shared the plans of what they wanted to do, and were very honest and said, look, we want to do this and that. Yeah, can we, can you back us basically for it before going ahead with the full application? So we know this isn't just some small little addition. This is a major project, and it has been announced to be an attraction as well. We are looking at ride hardware here. We're not just looking at a back of house building or anything like that. It did clearly state that yes, this is going to be a new attraction, and also as well with the area that it is, I think it's going to be pretty big. This could be a major addition for Alton Towers, and pretty certain that we could be seeing the early signs of SW9 with this one. So yes, let's talk more about that piece of land in general, shall we? So Coaster Corner, let me put it up here on Google Maps again for you. So as you can see, you've got the World of David Walliams that I've kind of marked out there with a green kind of triangle around so that you can see it. Then you've also got the theatre, which is currently unused, but was used up until a few years ago as a 4D theatre. Prior to that, it had live shows in. And then, yeah, just behind that, this whole blue area, this is Coaster Corner. And as you can see, it's a pretty major area. In fact, it's big enough to fit a ride like the Smiler on there and have room all around it as well. So this gives you a bit of an idea on the size of that site. Now, it's currently used for back of house areas. When I worked at Alton Towers, spent quite a lot of time actually taking stuff around there, because it's also the tip or the recycling centre, as we should probably call it, just round the back there, where literally everything gets put into skips and then sent off. That's located around there. Along with that, environmental services, and also as well, Merlin Magic Making's located not on that site directly, but just a little bit off to the right, kind of more behind the theatre itself. So it's a huge site. Now, in the 80s, there was roller coasters actually located on there, hence why it's got the name now, with many enthusiasts and even a lot of staff at the park still refer to it as Coaster Corner. Rides that have been on there in the past, of course, the Alton Mouse that was on there, along with that the Four-Man Bob and also the Beast were all located on there. However, at the end of 1991, that is when that area was last in service. Rides were taken out that were still standing there, and yeah, they kind of brought the area in as it was transformed at the time, and then ever since for 30 years it's been back of house areas. Now this also leads me on to why have Alton Towers not done anything with that site over the past 30 years? Well, there's one main reason for that, and that is noise levels. This is right in the bottom corner of Alton Towers, close to Alton Village itself. Now, as we know with Alton Towers in the past, they've not exactly always been best friends with the locals, or more, the locals haven't always got on with Alton Towers and what their plans have been. There's been a lot of complications, should we say, in the park's history when it comes to noise, not just from rides, but firework displays and all that. But luckily, them times do seem to be in the past now, which is really good. However, Alton Towers have still got to be very careful about what they want to build in that corner. And that's why straight away they've gone in and said this will be an indoor attraction that they want to build on this site. So yeah, we've kind of established, a bit of an idea what they want to do, where that it's going to go. And yeah, also now going to talk more about the wider area, because if you're building an attraction down there, a major attraction that could be Secret Weapon 9, which is looking likely to be, how are you going to get people there? And also now you've got a family area, the world of David Walliams here. If this is a thrill ride, are you going to send people through that area to get down there? What they kind of have to do is remove Flavio's Fabulous Fandango, which obviously is a temporary Sizzler ride anyway, and that's where the pathway at the access used to be. However, there is other options. Obviously, you've got the Alton Towers dungeon that could potentially be demolished or at least changed of view, so access could be made through there. You've also got a kind of large hill that's next to the dungeon and between David Walliams, where you can maybe open up a pathway. There is options there, and I reckon we're probably going to find out this in the next couple of weeks at this consultation, because they're going to want to say, how they're going to get access to that site as well. But yeah, we know this is going to be a new major indoor attraction. Now, of course, it's going to need planning permission on that site. This isn't the application, this is just the consultation. However, there is actually a permitted development area located kind of just out the front really of the dungeons and part of David Walliams, where they can actually build within reason what they'd like to there. So this could kind of extend to being a full themed area, and that's what I think with this. I don't think we're looking at an expansion to the world of David Walliams. I really don't. I think this is going to be major. Alton Towers would not be using this site to put some small little addition to the world of David Walliams. This is an area of Alton Towers that they've wanted to use again for a long time, 30 years, and now is the time that they want to utilise that. They're not going to put something small there. This will be a major attraction, and I am pretty certain that it's going to be Secret Weapon 9, which, if you're not familiar with that, basically that's the next big project for Alton Towers. In the past, the secret weapons have all been roller coasters. However, as I'll move on to in just a moment, there is a chance that this could not be a roller coaster. We don't know them details yet, and we still don't know if we're going to find out those on the 19th of September, because yeah, they could just give us the idea of the size of the building or buildings, and then yeah, leave it there. They don't have to exactly state what's going inside that building. So it would be very interesting to see. I hope we do find out more, but yeah, this is big news, it really is. So yeah, just before I kind of move on to the time frame for this, when I'm expecting it, just thought I'd talk about what I'm hoping we see on there, or what I would like to see built on that site. Now, you've got to think, the last Secret Weapon 8, was Wicker Man. That opened in 2018. So already that's quite a few years ago now. In terms of, when the next major ride is going to come to Alton Towers, I think we're more likely looking at 2025 for this project. But I'll go more in detail with that in a moment. What I'm hoping to see there is an indoor roller coaster with heavy theming. And I think that, following in with the Secret Weapon kind of way of doing things, I do think it probably will be an indoor coaster. That's my inkling for it. I think if they're going to use that site, they're going to want to build something big, and a large indoor coaster will be fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of fantastic indoor coasters around the world, just not really in the UK. We don't really have many indoor coasters at all. In fact, there's only a few. So I think that could be a real nice area for Alton Towers to kind of nip into. It's a market what isn't really covered, and also Alton will know how popular their former indoor coaster, Black Hole, used to be. That was a very popular ride. It used to stand where the Smiler does to this day. It came to the end of its life, unfortunately. However, yeah, with that, it's a brilliant site for an indoor coaster, you know, and this could be much bigger than what Black Hole ever was. You imagine something, you know, like the Smiler, for example, but indoors. I think this will be something pretty big and spectacular. However, like I say, it doesn't necessarily mean it will be a coaster. Alton Towers is majorly lacking a water ride now. Obviously, you've got Battle Galleons and the Congo River Rapids, but it's lacking a kind of modern flume ride. Could we see something like that, indoor water ride? I certainly wouldn't complain if that's what we get. A full kind of experience ride would be brilliant. Along with that, though, there is a chance that it could be a dark ride, some sort of trackless dark ride, maybe a big modern dark ride. There is certainly a chance. I mean, you've got to think of what they've done with Jumanji at Gardaland. As much as I don't think that was done to the highest of standards, in my opinion, you can see a lot of kind of areas where things were cut back and not put in. Still, they spent the money on that new ride system, so we could possibly see something like that go into that building as well. There's a lot of different options. Also, here's something to consider. It could be multiple attractions. Now, I think this is quite unlikely, but imagine something a bit like Arthur at Europa Park with a large-scale coaster and then maybe a couple of flat rides as well built into it. You know, there's a lot of different options here. It's all speculation. What I would love to see is an indoor coaster. I think that's what would work amazing for that site. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see kind of what comes out from this. Now, obviously, I mentioned about the sound earlier on being a major issue. Obviously, with this being an indoor attraction, that isn't going to be a problem, other than the construction of the building. Once that's done, your local residents aren't going to hear anything because it's going to be indoors, it's going to be covered away. So yeah, it's really got everybody thinking, and that's why I've waited a couple of days to film this, because I've really been thinking about what I think they might do and what I'd like to see them do. But I do think, you know, this would be the perfect spot for an indoor coaster. It's tapping into a market what isn't really covered at all now in the UK, and also as well, yeah, it's going to be a long gap. If this is a 2025 project, that's quite a gap between 2018. I know we've had the pandemic, but for not putting in a major coaster, it's quite a big gap for Alton, that is. So yeah, I do think that's what they're probably looking at here. But yeah, get your thoughts coming in down below in the video comments. I would love to know. And of course, we're only about a week and a half away now from finding out a bit more information. I don't think we're going to get the full details, but at least showing us the building and the size of it, and that's really going to give us a good indication to if this will be coaster, dark ride, water ride, multiple rides, and also, is it going to be a full themed area? I'm expecting it to be. I think it'll have its own access away from Williams. However, I'm sure we'll find out more about that too, because that's the exterior of the building. They're going to want to show us pathways and tree removal, environmental impacts, all that kind of stuff, instead of the actual ride hardware, if that makes sense. Now, I've already touched on this a few times, but finally, before we wrap this video up, when do I think this is going to be ready? I definitely think they're aiming for 2025 for this one. You've got to think World of Jumanji, 2023 next year at Chessington. 2024, fingers crossed, Project Exodus at Thorpe Park. However, they're going to have to get moving with that one, if so, as that might end up getting pushed back. The Legoland coasters are also looking 24. So then, yeah, probably 25 for this at Alton Towers. I mean, if Exodus gets pushed back to 25, maybe this could get pushed back to 26. But, you know, that's what I think they're aiming for, 25, really, for this project. I really do hope so. That would also tie in with other projects. Obviously, we know the Jewel transformation. That's going to be ready for next year, 100%. That's going to be opening as 2023's big new attraction. You're then going to have Nemesis shut next year for its retrack. So that should, if all goes to plan, reopen in 2024. And then that leaves 2025 for this major new attraction. So that's the kind of time frame that I'm expecting with this one. But yeah, there's lots to think about. In terms of the wider area for it though, you've also got the flag tower down there that is a beautiful piece of Alton Towers history. I'd love to see access to that, or at least so you can go down there and see it in person. A lot of people have never even seen it, probably don't know it exists, but next time you go on Oblivion, just look at the right hand side when you go up the lift hill, and you'll see this beautiful flag tower. That's the area where we're looking at for them to build this major new attraction, and hopefully themed area by the looks of it. So there we go. Biggest expansion of the park in over 30 years at Alton Towers. They've done a lot of re-themes, they've done a lot of new rides within current areas, but we've not seen an actual new area like expanding the size of the park for that long time. Like it's been a long time, so I really cannot wait to see exactly what they've got planned. More information on the way. Unfortunately, I won't be there at the consultation myself because I'm going to be in Florida. However, we've got people going on our behalf. There's going to be updates on the way, and I'll be sure to film an update video whilst I'm in Florida talking about Alton Towers. I've never done that before, but I will be for this one. It's big news, it's exciting, and we can't wait to follow it here on Theme Park Worldwide. That leaves me with one final thing to say. Get out there, keep on riding. See you in the next video.